Let's talk about Right Here, Right Now, the new movie by everybody's favorite band, Ghost. Or if they're not your favorite, I don't know. You're aware of them. They're absolutely the band that I think could pull off a movie. They're super theatrical. They have a ton of like backstory lore going into them. So it makes sense for them to have a movie that, one, highlights their live show, and two, advances the plot. Obviously, they're growing as a band. And the Imperator, in my opinion, is by far the best live show they've ever done. So the fact that they documented this one, I think this is a huge, well, it's a perfect opportunity for them to, I guess, I don't know if memorialize is a word, but we're going to use memorialize, and they're going to capture a moment in the band's history. I don't know why I didn't just say that. It is way too hot for me to be filming this in a bathrobe, but I'm going to commit to the bit. The movie had a very limited runtime. I think it was June 20th through June 23rd, although I did see maybe on TikTok that they expanded it, so it's potentially out now. And I think it's coming to streaming on July 8th. So I will warn you that this has some spoilers. It's actually got some big spoilers. If you haven't seen Right Here, Right Now yet, you may want to like this video and then save it to like a playlist that you have for watch later, and then come back to it once you've watched Right Here, Right Now. I got to see it Sunday, June 23rd at the Cinemark at the Willowbrook Mall in, I guess, I don't know what, maybe is Willowbrook a town? I don't know, it's off of Route 46 in New Jersey. We went to the theater, and as you do in any theater, you see some trailers. Pedro Pascal was up there, and then Mr. Sultarian showed up and said we could film for a couple minutes.
How are you?
Good, how are you? I'm enjoying my junior mints.
Wow. That's very, look at that.
But then the movie started, and we will get into some points that I have conveniently written down in my notebook. I haven't been this hyped in a while, since Pre-Cal. And it's kind of interesting because, everybody's like, oh, he's going to die now. He's been here for 2 album cycles. So it's kind of weird that my hypeness for the most I've ever been hyped for something Ghost-related started with Cardinal Copia and was now going to end with Cardinal Copia. But yeah, I was really excited. I was counting down the days to see this movie. And I was like a child on Christmas morning, except more excited. So I pretty much blocked everything off. I was like, I actually canceled plans. So the movie starts, and it's a live concert. It's essentially you're sitting in a theater watching a live concert. And let me tell you, you have the best seat in the house for this concert. The cinematography on this was absolutely mind-blowing. But the shots they had of all these songs being played live were absolutely amazing. I didn't film any of it because that's illegal. I only filmed when Mr. Sultarian said I could film. I don't want him finding me. You know how he comes and just kind of shows up? I feel like he would kill me, and I would become one of the ghouls, so maybe I do want him to find me. I really, really loved the camera work. It was like mesmerizing to watch. Other than He Is, because I had to go pee in the middle.
All right, I did have to pee during He Is, but we're going back in now.
This movie was constant stimulation. It was like they changed camera angles every 3 seconds, other than if someone was taking a solo. And I remember, I think it was during Spillways specifically, they had a split screen, and then the third screen came in, and then Papa did something like that and swiped them away, and it was very well done. Really crisp 4K footage, but the mix was weird. It was loud, but it was lacking low end, and it was very muddy. You could hear the drums very well. That snare drum is probably the best sounding snare drum I've ever heard in my life. All the drums, really. And the bass was coming through, but it wasn't like this big boomy in a good way. It was like, it got pretty muddy, and a lot of stuff got buried. Unfortunately, some of that were like the vocals and the guitars, which I think are two very important elements. Another thing I really, really liked, and this is important, is they really did a great job capturing the banter and the stage antics between Papa and the ghouls. Like just watching how the ghouls interact with each other, how Papa like shoos them away. My favorite shot of the movie, I think it's Dewdrop. Is it Dewdrop? I'm gonna get it wrong. But Dewdrop lifts his guitar when Rain comes over and, tells him to stop doing the ritual whammy bar stuff, and he takes his pick and throws in the audience. He throws the "you suck" up. That was my favorite shot of the movie. I want to find a sticker similar to that for my strat. But no, they did a really good job capturing the personality, because every era of Ghost I think has a different personality. This one has objectively been the most fun. The highlights for me were Kaisarion and Rats, because that is such a great combo, and they captured so much energy during that. Absolution, I'm gonna go on record and say that Absolution is by far the best song in Ghost discography for a live setting. Like, that song was good on Meliora. It's not my favorite on Meliora, but it's good on Meliora. Live, it is the best song of the night. If You Have Ghosts, I thought was beautiful. And, there was talk about how it was all like an orchestra, not an orchestra, but like a quintet. There's 2 cellos, a piano, and this amazing vocals. It was a really, really nice rendition, and he gave a really similar speech to what he gave during A Pale Tour Named Death. Life, and sometimes life is good and sometimes it's bad, and you just got to keep going because that's what life is. And that sort of tied into the message of the movie, which is a later point I'm going to make. Now, I got to say, another big highlight, this is probably my second favorite, was 20s. 20s absolutely slammed live. I wish they did that like full on tour, like when I saw them in 2022. That was amazing. And 20s was definitely like one of those songs for me, and it grew on me. It grew on me a lot. And hearing it live, it's like that's definitely a top 5 song on the album for me right now. The skeleton dances were really cool too. I liked them probably the best during 20s when they did the marching. That was really cool. Yeah, that was sick. That's all I have to say on the matter. It was sick. Absolutely riveting performance of 20s. And then I'm always a sucker for that triple threat combo at the end. Kiss the Go-Goat, Dance Macabre, Square Hammer. Yeah, that's what I thought of the actual concert. And that's in essence what the movie was. Now let's get to the lore, shall we? The content of the film, the story of the film. And this is where a lot of the spoilers come in, just a heads up. I couldn't do the bathrobe bit anymore. It was way too hot. We're going through like this awful heat wave, at least in Jersey. I don't know if where you live, it's like, almost 100 degrees and humid every day, but I hope it's not. We talked about the concept. Let's talk about the plot, because we're like pretty far deep into this video so far. I'm going to have to cut a lot of this, because I can ramble about Ghost for eons. I thought the plot was typical chapterness, because all the chapters are kind of goofy. You know what I mean? They're silly. They're silly over in Ghost World. And there were a lot of bits that I thought were great. I'm not going to tell you all of them. That's for you to go watch the movie. But just a couple off the top of my head that I really liked, and I wrote them down because I don't have a memory. We saw in the trailer Cardi putting on a boxing glove outfit and going through the crowd, or not a boxing glove outfit. He put on boxing gloves and a robe like I just had on, except his was infinitely cooler. And if you pay attention, he really only did that so as he's walking from like the B stage back to the main stage. He's just fist bumping people. That's what he's doing. He's not looking at him. He's just fist bumping people by punching them with his boxing gloves. And after like 10 seconds of realizing what was going on, it was hysterical. It's like, this is the most ridiculous thing on the planet. Another little bit that I really enjoyed is he was about to go out for Cerise, and he does this really petty turn and walks out. It wasn't Cerise because Cerise had the zoom in, which was also funny. But this was pure pettiness where he turned and went, and just left, and I was in stitches. That was amazing. Absolute favorite little bit that they did was, okay, we have to talk a little bit about the plot. This is a big spoiler. Basically, Cardi is afraid of dying. We all knew that. But he's afraid his time is up, and the way I interpreted this is he doesn't want to end the show because at one point we find out, it is confirmed that Papa Nihil is his dad. So basically, Papa Nihil and Sister Imperator, which is all animated. I mean, that's not animated, but the night of it happening is animated in a very Scooby-Doo. They caved. They finally did it. For years, they're like, we're Scooby-Doo chase music. Fine, we're going to give you a Scooby-Doo chase. And it was amazing. Essentially, you learn that they are his parents, and then he starts talking to, Cardi as his son. And he gives him this very big, like, father-son pep talk, which is where you find out he did 3 songs. And Cardi says cool beans and made me want to vomit because I hate the expression cool beans. I really, really hate it. He's afraid of dying, and they keep saying, just focus on the moment and go out there and give the show. You have to give it your all. That's what you're here to do. Don't worry about what's going to happen next. Just live in the moment. And that was I'm like derailing myself. I'm going on to bit 5 before finishing bit 4, but I'm going to do that because it was a natural segue. And, anyways, I always struggle with that personally. I'm very much like a dwell on all my screw-ups in the past, and I'm always planning for the future. And I have a very hard time living right in the moment. So that message was I hate to say that Papa Nihil gave me very important life advice, but I'm also really, really happy to say that Papa Nihil gave me really, really important life advice. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was a very nice message. And and there was, there was also, the whole bit about like, don't hate each other and, help each other out. It was all very positive stuff. My group chat is blowing up. I'm filming this on my phone because I can't afford a camera. Basically, the message is to, enjoy the moment and live in the reality of what's going on right now. Don't psych yourself up for something that you can't control in the future, but also don't dwell on, what's happening in the past, because that's gone now. You have to live right here, right now. And I thought it was a very important message, and that's the serious part of this. We're going to go back to the bits now. But I needed to go on that derailment because my favorite part of the whole movie was after Respite, they all go off stage, and Cardi's tells all the ghouls to go home. They did a great job, and he doesn't want to film the show because he's afraid to die. That was my favorite bit. Now, there's one thing plot-wise that I kind of was a little annoyed by, and that was they used a lot of the solos or the instrumental parts. Like the beginning of Absolution was cut off. The ending of Conclave Condio was cut off, and that was cool because they turned it like a luchador thing, and it was funny. It was like a ha-ha moment, but I would rather hear Conclave Condio. All of Miasma was pretty much cut off. There was a very, motivational life message from Papa Nihil there, and it's basically about how, he's entertaining, and he still goes out, and he because he entertains, his music lives on every single night. Even if he's only temporarily there, he still lives on. And then he goes and does the saxophone solo, and then he turns back into a Force ghost. That was really my only negative. I would have liked the movie to be maybe 10 minutes longer, just so we could see the full show. This is also bonus content, but I'm really bummed that Conclave Condio is not going to be on the soundtrack. And Ritual was really good live. Anyways, we could talk about that for days. We're talking about the movie. We're trying to live right here, right now. I already did point 5, so I really just have to go to the last point, and this is a big spoiler. We all thought Cardinal Copia was going to die, and there's that part where he goes up in the air balloon, which is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's hysterical. Imagine doing that, and then you go up. They throw you in a balloon, and they put you high above Los Angeles, and then you're in outer space. Why? I think you can interpret the next part 2 different ways. He's in the balloon, he looks down at Sister. His sister's being escorted off. It cuts to black, very Tony Soprano style. And then he's on the floor, and you for a split second, you're he's dead. But then he gets up, and at first I was the balloon was shot down, but then there's a little clip where it's maybe he was just hallucinating the balloon, and he just tripped and fell on the floor, which is something I would expect from Cardinal Copia or Papa Emeritus 4. But then he looks over, and all the ghouls surround Sister, and Sister dies. And it's very sad. And now, selfishly, I have to say that I would take Sister dying 1,000,000 times over the thought of Cardinal Copia dying. And I love it even more because Cardinal Copia is now Father or Frater Imperator. Instead of Sister Imperator, is now Frater Imperator. And there's a new Papa coming. That's where they left us on a cliffhanger, which is annoying, but it worked because I'm incredibly hyped now. I can't stop thinking about this. Now, I'm a huge Ghost fan, as you know. If you watch the channel for years, this whole channel, half the content on this channel is Ghost related. But this has gotten me more obsessed with Ghost than I have been in the last, I don't know, we'll call it an even year. It worked. That cliffhanger worked. I know a lot of people are annoyed, but it's genius because now you want more. He's luring you in. And we saw a teaser of the new Papa. It is heavily implied that it is going to be Copia's brother. And that is my movie review. I would give the movie, if I'm grading it out of 100, I would give it a 95%. That's how much I liked it. Because again, most of it is just concert footage, and that's really all that matters. Everybody involved killed it. I don't know everybody's names off the top of my head, but everybody did a great job. But now we have to wait for new Ghost content. I mean, we have the soundtrack coming out at the end of July, so that's a month from now. But do we think there's going to be anything else coming this year? I personally would like to see something happen later this year. I mean, I think we all would. I am hopeful that we're probably going to get something in the fall, November. No, probably not November because there's an election. All right, if we don't get it in October, it's going to be early next year. Who do we think the new Papa is? Who do we think Papa 5 is going to be? I am in the boat that it's going to be me. I am Papa 5. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's going to be Copia's twin brother because it was heavily implied during that. Some people think Papa 3 is coming back. Some people think the second Papa's coming back. No love for Papa 1, apparently. He can just stay dead. I think it's going to be a whole new character. I don't think it's going to be Jim DeFrock. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and let me know who you think the next Papa is going to be. I have to go to bed because I have to get up very early tomorrow. But I still have to edit this. I'm going to spend an hour editing this and scheduling it, making a thumbnail, all that jazz. But, yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought of the movie, what your favorite part was. I got to cover this coming out in the next couple days. Be on the lookout for that. We're going to do a lesson 2. And there might be another surprise coming next week. So stay tuned for that because that's pretty sick. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.